I bring no joy in being responsible for giving all of you wonderful viewers a PTSD flashback, because today, once again, we are talking about Matt Walsh. Okay, maybe I enjoyed that just a little bit. Matt Walsh, by now we have all heard of him so many times. He's notorious for posing the famous question, what is a woman? And also, funnily enough, he's managed to answer that question also. Now we know a woman is anybody that runs away from Matt Walsh. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite soy boy, beta male, man bun cuck, Hunter Avalon here, back with another video. Don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, at the time of the recording of this video, the video we're about to watch was only posted 5 hours ago, in which Matt Walsh goes on Piers Morgan to talk about Andrew Tate. Yeah.
He diagnoses the problems correctly. Where I disagree with him is in the prescription. Like, what do we do about the problem?
Taylor Swift's new album, The Tortured Poets Department, is smashing sales records.
This is someone in kind of a state of arrested development. She's not a positive influence.
Fascinating conversation between Joe Rogan.
Of course, Matt Walsh would hate Taylor Swift. I feel like Matt Walsh is the type of guy who would hate Taylor Swift just because she's popular. So I guess this all starts because Andrew Tate is also calling out Taylor Swift. God, what is it with these, like, man children always attacking Taylor Swift?
Taylor's offering her predominantly female audience a menu of big ballads and a bit of ex-boyfriend bashing. Song titles on her new album include The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, My Boy Only Breaks His Favourite Toys, I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can. Andrew Tate, meanwhile, wrote this open letter to his overwhelmingly male audience.
Let's see what Andrew Tate said to his male audience.
White men, you're being replaced because none of you have children. All you white boys lost control of your women, and now they won't accept multiple wives anymore. They don't want to do their God-given job anymore, so your genetic potential is stumped by the whims of some singular female. Other races have multiple ovens for bread. We're not cucked, except...
Oh, dude, I think prison did, like, a number on this man's brain. So first and foremost, this notion that, like, the white man is being replaced because minority groups are having more kids or something. The only reason that's a problem is if you think there is something inherently and innately superior to white people. Let me ask you a question. If white people or white men are being quote unquote replaced, if this happened naturally and organically, i.e. less white people having kids, more brown people having kids, so we obviously see more brown people, less white people. Why is this a problem? Again, it's only a problem if you're racist. This is like Andrew Tate going mask off here, and then he makes it even worse. All you white boys lost control of your women? Okay, if you are a white boy and you think it's your job to control women, then I can tell you right now, not only are you fucked in the head, but your real job is actually to seek help immediately before you get put on an FBI watch list. It is not any man's job to control women. And if you think that is your job, then honestly, I think you're the one that needs to be controlled to make sure that you don't fucking hurt anybody. Then he says, and now they won't accept multiple wives anymore? Dude, all you cucked boys out there, man. It's because all of the cucked white people. That's why women don't like being cheated on. Bravo. They don't want to do their God-given job anymore? Yeah, Andrew Tate doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. First of all, women do not have a God-given job. Second of all, I'm pretty sure Andrew Tate, in his mind, the only kind of job he thinks women are meant to do is like a blowjob. I don't think he has any real insight into this issue whatsoever. Then he says, so your genetic potential is stumped by the whims of some singular female. Other races have multiple ovens for bread. We're not cucked. So yeah, basically, if you practice monogamy, if you care about building a relationship, and you care about committing to one person who you feel really brings you a sense of fulfillment and joy in your life, that's just cucked, okay? The real Sigma men stick their dick in anything. It doesn't even matter if it's a fucking electrical socket.
So whose philosophy? Swift's feminism or Tate's masculinism offers the best hope for the future relations between the sexes, or are both in their own way equally bad? We'll better to pass judgment on this and much more than the Daily Wire's Matt Walsh. His new series, Judged by Matt Walsh, promises to...
Why does he look so angry? He looks like really uncomfortable, like he's just waiting for the laxative to just take full effect.
To settle disputes, squabbles, and differences of opinion. Well, Judge Matt, welcome to Uncensored. Good to see you again with your elevated title of judge.
Oh yeah, Matt has some like stupid show now where he like pretends to be a judge or something. It's, I don't know.
Well, Matt Walsh, that's my title. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're going to come to your new show in a bit. It sounds great. But first of all, this great cultural debate of our week. Andrew Tate and his brand of feminism, which Ben Shapiro, one of your colleagues, of course, Daily Wire, hammered Andrew Tate, called him a filthy grift, whose message to treating women like trash and is evil. What did you think of that assessment?
Damn. Shapiro's spitting? That's a new one.
Andrew Tate. And is he a force for good, for bad, for a bit of both? How should we view him?
I think it's a bit of both. I think what I've always thought about Andrew Tate is that I think often he diagnoses the problems correctly. He notices a lot of the problems in
Okay, please inform us, Professor Walsh, as to why white people not reproducing as much, or there being less white people in this country. Why is that a problem? Please tell me. Please. I'm so curious. I'm dying to know.
Society and his sort of observation of those problems can oftentimes be correct. I think where I disagree with him is in the prescription. Like, what do we do about the problem? And so the tweet that you just read is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. That there is an issue with, especially in the West, we're not having babies, we're not reproducing. The family has become sort of impotent.
Why is this an issue? This isn't true, first of all. People in more developed areas just tend to have less children because their kids tend to live and their kids tend to be healthier. This notion that, like, there are no families anymore, they're all just doomed. Bullshit. First and foremost, there are plenty of families still in America, okay? Second of all, just if they're not having as many kids, again, why is this a problem? It's only an issue if you think that white people are somehow inherently and intrinsically better and somehow more necessary for this country.
I don't think that the solution to that problem is polygamy. So I think that's entirely the wrong solution. And there are a bunch of reasons why I don't think polygamy is the right solution. But one of the big ones is that, children need fathers. And so we have a problem in the West, not just in the fact that children aren't being produced in the first place, but when they are produced, they're not being raised by a mother and a father in the home. And it's very clear.
So what he's getting at there is not so much that kids need like a mom and a dad. There's not really a whole lot of evidence to support this notion, especially because the masculine figure and the feminine figure, that's very arbitrary and very socially constructed. So unfortunately, after this part, my audio glitched out for a moment, so I lost a little bit of the video. But anyway, after this brain cell massacre, Matt Walsh begins talking about Taylor Swift.
Of all the different, there are many pop stars that are far more objectionable than her.
Yeah.
Far more vulgar and objectionable. I think for the most part, what you get from Taylor Swift, it's not good, don't get me wrong. It's just kind of vapid and shallow and silly.
So like all of your political analysis then, Matt?
The most relevant criticism of her is that she's, I think now 34 years old. She's a 34-year-old woman still singing about her, basically high school level relationship problems. So this appears to be a 34-year-old woman who...
What your biggest criticism of her is she's 34 years old who still has relationship problems? It sounds to me like his real criticism is that she's single or that she's not married and doesn't have kids, which that's kind of what I think he's getting at. But either way, if that's the best criticism you can levy, then you got to start doing better, Matt.
Who hasn't grown up much and hasn't grown as a person or an artist. In fact, I think one thing I did see on Twitter is that on her latest album, she actually has a song called So High School or something like that, and where she's actually directly comparing her current relationships to, being in high school. And so this is someone...
Yeah, but isn't that like part of what an artist might want to do? Like convey how she feels her own relationships are vapid? You have such a shallow view of everything, Matt. First of all, we already know you're not a Taylor Swift scholar, okay? So shut it. Second of all, now you're just like, rambling through like the best criticism, I guess, is she's still in like has relationship problems as a single woman.
Her current relationships to, being in high school. And so this is someone in kind of a state of arrested development. And I think that there are a lot of people in the West who struggle with that same condition. So she's not a positive influence as far as that goes, I would
You
say.
see, I sort
How
of
is she
disagree.
not like somebody who might struggle with certain things, but is honest and vulnerable about their struggles, and is simultaneously the most successful musical artist ever? Like, how is that not? How is that like a bad influence? You yourself just got done saying, Matt, that Taylor Swift is far less objectionable compared to other artists.
Agree with that, because I think that all great singer-songwriters, the ones who write the songs, actually their best stuff tends to come from the negative stuff in their life. I remember Phil Collins, for example, he used to famously write amazing stuff when he was heartbroken, and whenever he was happy, it was never as good. And I don't see her as any different or any better or worse than that. I think she's an incredibly gifted singer-songwriter. I mean, inarguably, the record speaks for itself. I think she writes great pop songs, and she has an extraordinary following. And in terms of her life, I mean, she's had a few dodgy boyfriends. She's with a guy now who's an American sporting icon in many ways, very successful guy in his own right. And she may well end up getting married to this guy and settling down and having kids. And 34 is no longer deemed to be an old age to do that. It's in fact, I mean, one of the issues about modern...
Actually, remember we just looked into this not too long ago about how now 35 is actually the average age a lot of women are getting married.
Many great artists have focused, if not exclusively on that. That's some of the most powerful work has come from the sort of struggles and sorrow that they experience. My issue with her is that she doesn't appear to be saying anything interesting or insightful about it.
What is and is not interesting and insightful is going to be incredibly subjective, Matt. So for you to say, well, my main thing is she doesn't say anything interesting. No. She doesn't say anything that you find interesting. Billions of other people that are buying her music clearly disagree with you. Somehow Walsh's criticisms of Taylor Swift keep getting worse and worse. Somehow it's his criticisms of Taylor Swift that keep getting more and more vapid and silly and meaningless.
If there is a Taylor Swift song out there where she offered some real beautiful poetic insight into any of these issues, then
What is not beautiful poetic insight is so subjective.
Heard it. I'd love to hear what it is, but it's just, from what I can tell, it's just sort of the same thing over and over and over again, and that's the problem.
Isn't that what like kind of all artists do? Like Walsh, every video you post is kind of the same thing. Every video I post is kind of the same thing, right? Like people come back for the type of content that you make. So you're gonna keep making the content that you like making and that people like consuming. Everybody's kind of making the same thing and building upon it and trying to improve and everything else. This is how a lot of creative minds operate.
On an individual basis, if some people as outliers end up getting married or having kids later, okay. But as a kind of societal strategy, I think it's very clear that it's better as a group in general to get married younger, to have kids younger.
Why is that better? I'm pretty sure there's data to show that when you get married younger, you're far more likely to get a divorce. Why is that better?
As a group in general, to get married younger, to have kids younger, and to, so that you are younger and more energetic when you have kids.
Walsh is positing this notion that your purpose is to have kids, and a lot of people disagree with that. I disagree with that. I don't think that's anyone's one single purpose. I think it's something that can bring purpose to your life, but acting as if you exist to have kids, or you should have kids younger so you have more energy to raise your kids. What about the finances? Maybe it's smarter to have kids when you're a little bit older, because at that point you will have been in your career for a while and have a solid financial foundation to then raise a kid. It's so vapid. Wow. Matt Walsh, you're really a pain in the ass, and I can't wait until you become Walshed up. Until then, thank you everybody for suffering with me. Don't forget to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and become a member so you can get early access to content, special emotes, shout outs at the top of the channel, and more. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you all soon. If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a member today. Members get early access to videos, access to all the stream VODs, and exclusive access to emotes as well. So if you'd like to support the channel, become a member today.